Hey Gun, Landon here. Welcome to my bus home and office. So this is where most of Zero Grid is ran from. It's yeah, our office and our house on wheels. Something I wanted to talk to you guys today about is poor design, and the you know, the beginnings of this is that I do custom wiring diagrams for people, right? And I help out with explaining how these systems go together. And someone come to me wanting to run one of these inverters. So it's a 12 volt, 5000 VA inverter. And they were like, can you help me with a wiring diagram for this? And my answer was no, sorry mate, I can't. And the reason is that it's not that I can't work out how to wire it and you know, all of those type of stuff, but the reason I didn't want to do it and I couldn't morally do it is because I think it's a terrible design. And the reasons that it's a terrible design is that it's a lot of power at a low voltage. So the relationship with volts and amps is that the higher the volts, the lower the amps, right? This is why we have high voltage transmission lines to get from state to state in Australia to transfer power. Is the higher voltage, it's better for those big power, right? And the reasons that these are a terrible design, if this is what your design is based on, is because of the size of the cables, for starters, that we would need. I haven't looked in the Victron manual, but probably parallel 95 mil squared cables, and one for the positive, like two cables for the positive and two for the negatives. I'll have to check that, but it'd be somewhere like that. And they're big cables, you know, they're bigger than my thumb, right? And I've got some pretty big hands, but so that's one. And the other is that it's hard to manage that heat. So like at 5000 watts at a 12 volt load is, I've got a trusty calculator here in front of me, is 416 amps. So that's 400 amps, right, for bad maths at full load. And you know, we're not always running these things at full load, but we need to be looking at these full load calculations as well. But it's the 400 amps. We always have losses, right? And we're going to have more heat, you know, pumping that much power through these cables. It's going to be a challenge. And Victron inverters don't like heat. That's their not downfall, but it's their limitation, right? Like it's in hot environments and that type of stuff. So if we are building a system like that, we'd have to be introducing cooling fans, you know, like an in and an out to keep the compartment cool, and making sure that they're not tucked up close to other compartments. We'd have to be really focused on that type of stuff as well. But probably the biggest reason that I'm not a fan of these is that any little bad connection or discrepancy in, you know, crimping and that type of stuff, it's going to be escalated to a really big problem. So a bad connection, you know, like if you're wiring up your indicators on your trailer, it's gonna be fine because the load is so little. But once that load is huge, that problem is just exponential. It just blows out to be a really big problem. So we're introducing a lot of these new problems that we can easily avoid. And one of the easiest ways to avoid this is just to go up a voltage. That it's absolutely fine. And it's you know, at 24 volts, we're going to have half the amount of amps. We're going to have 200 amps pumping through that cable, and we're going to be down to one of those cables. You know, like that's already halved it. But even to go to 48 volts, we're going to have a quarter of those amps. We're going to have 100 amps. That's such a much more manageable voltage to be having. So that's why I'm not a fan of these inverters to be putting in motorhomes like this. And every time I see one, I cringe. And it's because of, you know, we can avoid these problems that these inverters introduce. And I build a lot of these systems at 48 volt. Our system's at 48 volt. I will do a video on our system soon. I've actually, there is one of me building the system. I rebuilt our system after 4 years in the bus just to tidy it up and make it look nicer. And the only reasons that I could see that the 12 volt 5000 VA inverter is going to be helpful is if we've got some really big 12 volt loads as well as some really big 240 volt loads. And by really big, like I mean like trolling motors or big winches and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe in a boating environment that might be all right, but you know, like we can use 48 to 12 volt step downs for the 12 volt loads that we have in our bus. So some people have 12 volt lighting, easy, you know, that's a couple amps, or a Waco fridge or 2 or 3, or you know, little water pumps and stuff like that. You know, it's such a minimal amount. So really the way I look at it with voltages is that if we're a 240 volt heavy basket, we should be going as high a voltage as we possibly can, because that's where we're going to have the best conversions for a high voltage battery bank to 240 volt to be for these big inverters. And if we're super 12 volt heavy, that's when, you know, our systems should be at 12 volt, because that's, you know, every time we convert power is when we're going to lose our percentages in losses type thing. So I think yeah, I think that's generally how I look at it. But you know, in a caravan, like the 3000 watt inverters is a perfect size. Like that's running one appliance. You know, it's running your air conditioner and your microwave at the same time, kind of just. But you know, either your kettle or your coffee machine, you know, it's fine. But when we get to buses of this size, I build a lot of systems with 5000s, but I'm building a lot these days with 8000s as well. So the 8000 VA inverters really give us the ability to run whatever we want wherever we are. So I don't want to say this too loud, but I do wish that we had at the 8000. We were running fine, but I've just put another air conditioner in the back, like an underbunk air conditioner, and it'd be so helpful to have to be able to run double air conditioners and the Thermomix and the air fryer at the same time. So, but this has been spoiled, isn't it? But yeah, I think I just wanted to make a short little video about the importance of design, I suppose, and about, you know, really doing that research level about you know, which voltages we should have systems at, and how it's going to tie together, and the problems that we can avoid by really focusing on that. And really I think, and you would know this if you've taken on any big projects, but the planning stage is, I say to people, probably 50% of the work, but it's probably like 70% of the work. You know, like you put in a lot of hours and a lot of effort before you start, you know, cutting out bloody beams or installing windows and walls and stuff like that. Like it's important to be getting that down pat, and that's what I love about my job, is that I get to have these conversations with people and help out with designs to make sure that you know, it's really going to be fit for purpose, and that how they expect it's going to work, that it's going to work that way type thing. So yeah, hopefully that'll make sense, and I can do a bit more in depth about, you know, like you know, 12 volt versus 24 volt, but really, like, anything under 3000 watt 12 volt is fine. Anything between 3000 and 5000, I lean towards 24 volt is fine, but then anything over 5000, we're at 48 volt. It's an absolute no-brainer there with because of that cable size and that type of stuff. So yeah, I wish that this inverter wasn't available to the public, you know, as easily it is, because it's you know, a danger there for a recipe for disaster, really. So anyway, that's my opinion. Let me know what you think about the you know, bigger inverters, or let me know a scenario too that you can think of where having a big inverter at that 12 volt would be a benefit. You know, like, it's the boats is that the only thing that I can think of if they got really big 12 volt loads. So but anyway, that's enough rambling from me, but yeah, talk to you soon. Cheers, guys.